Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Lily and thanks for clicking on the video. Oh my god, I am so excited for this video. So as you've probably already read from the title, I got my hands on these Spongebob themed makeup sponges. I was so excited when I saw these. I think they popped up on my Instagram explore page or something, but as soon as I saw these I knew I had to get them because Spongebob is such an iconic TV show. I used to watch it when I was younger. In fact, the Spongebob movie is still such a classic, and Spongebob is just one of those shows that I think resonates with everyone, and so many memes have come out of it and it's so quotable and I think everyone just loves it, to be honest. So this is a collaboration with a brand called Juno & Co, Juno & Company, and they are an American brand. So I think this worked out to be about £20 with shipping. So inside here you get a Spongebob sponge, a Patrick sponge, 2 mini sponges, and I believe these are meant to be Gary's eyes, Gary the snail's eyes. Actually, when I first saw these, I thought these were meant to be little planktons, but apparently they're Gary's eyes. And then a sponge cleaner. I actually also love the descriptions on the back of here. It says microfiber and yellow and porous is he. Which is obviously a bit of a reference to the theme song. A Spongebob makeup sponge will deliver a natural airbrushed finish to your looks while helping you save 50% of your product, just like your favourite Juno velvet sponge. So I think this company came out with an original velvet sponge and then this is kind of a twist on that. Let's get into it. So these are the little Spongebob and Patrick sponges. How flippin' cute. I just love anything a bit novelty and a bit gimmicky. So these are both velvet microfiber sponges. I actually thought that these were the same. They're the same size, but the Spongebob one has a flat side to it and the Patrick one is just a completely round one, and then they both have a flat base. They do feel really sort of fuzzy and soft to the touch. I've only ever used my Real Techniques sponge before, so it'll be interesting to see how a velvet microfiber sponge works with applying my foundation. And these little sponges are Gary's eyes. Hopefully you can see that he's got his eyeballs on there. And these are super tiny compared to the other ones, so I think they'll be quite good for going under the eye with concealer. And these do actually feel a little bit firmer than the Spongebob and Patrick ones, but the same sort of fuzzy velvety texture. So all Spongebobs are looking a little bit dry at the moment and probably really desperate for some water. So let's give him a little dunk and see whether he expands at all. Ooh, he's very buoyant. He's not really absorbing much water. Oh, there we go. Ooh. So I'm just giving him a little squeeze. Oh, he is really expanding now. He's huge. Oh my god. He's really expanded in size now. So the Spongebob sponge is nice and damp now, and it's definitely expanded in size if we compare it to the Patrick sponge, because that was the original size of them both. So I'm going to use this little guy now to apply my foundation and see what the finish is like. This is just the Wet n Wild foundation from my last video. So let's give him a go. Let's use the flat side for my forehead. Well, it's quite nice actually to have that flat side to it. So I think that's pretty much all blended out. And I do actually really agree with the fact that it soaks up less product than my other sponge does, because you can see that it has soaked up a little bit in these areas where I did directly stamp it right onto where the blobs of foundation were. So that's kind of to be expected, but it does overall feel like I don't know, when I was blending, that it wasn't really soaking up much of the foundation, because there's sort of like a barrier between the actual sponge where the fuzzy sort of bristles stand up, if that makes any sense. But I do think my my foundation looks pretty flawless like it claims, it certainly looks no different to how I apply it with my other sponge. When I initially started blending out the foundation, I did think it seemed a little bit tricky to get it to blend, but as I got going it was absolutely fine. And it did feel a little bit weird at first because it didn't feel like the usual texture that I'm used to, but overall I think it worked really well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that actually. So let's move on to little Gary's eyes to do my concealer. Just going to apply some of my Lasting Perfection concealer. And I think those little sponges will be quite good to get into these tricky little areas around my nose. So let's give one of these a dunk and see what happens. Oh, he's definitely expanding. So if we just quickly compare that in size to the other little eye there, you can really see how much it has grown. So let's try this little guy. I think I might actually use this side. So it was a little bit harder than the foundation to get the concealer to blend out, and I don't know if that's because I'd left it for a little minute so it sort of dried up a bit. But I don't think it helped that these are sort of a bit more dense and less squishy than the bigger ones. So it did take a bit of blending, but we got there and it looks nice. These do work, but to be honest I think in future I'd just stick to using the bigger sponges under and around my eyes because they're just a bit softer and squishier. I do that with my normal sponge anyway, so these are nice to have, but I don't like them as much as the bigger sponges. So it says you can actually also use these sponges wet or dry, wet to apply liquid and dry to apply powders. So I'm going to attempt to use this with my setting powder dry to see if that works. I've never used a sponge to apply powder to my face before, so I'm a bit apprehensive, but I'm testing the sponges for what you can use them for, so let's give it a go. So I'm just going to dip little Patrick's face into my loose powder. He's got a bit on his face there, he looks like he's been doing something suspicious. And I think first just going to swipe this under my eye. That went better than expected. It just sort of stays a bit stuck to the sponge. I guess this works with powder because all of the tiny little fuzzy bristles act a bit like a brush anyway. That's what I'm thinking. Again, for my forehead, I'm taking little Patrick's noggin, dunking him in that powder, and just sort of pressing that onto my forehead. Doing a bit of a mixture of a swipe and press. I mean, to be honest, looking in the mirror, it does look pretty flawless using the sponge. Okay, so let's try and do the rest of my face. Feels really weird using a dry beauty sponge on my face. I know that some people use sponges wet with their powder, so I don't know how this would work if I used it wet, but the instructions did recommend to use it dry, so that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I think that definitely did work. It was a bit of a weird experience using a dry beauty sponge to apply powder, but yeah, it worked and it doesn't look weird. My skin doesn't look like a weird texture. It looks pretty nice actually. So yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised by that. I was expecting that to be a bit more difficult and for it to go a bit weird and, I don't know, not really spread across my face or anything. I might actually try this with my bronzer as well. This could be where it all goes terribly wrong, but it's for the sake of the video. So let's see if this guy works with bronzer. I'm just taking my Revolution Pro Nath bronzer and I'm going to use the other side to, how will I do this? Yeah, I'm just going to dunk it in, dunk the side in. Ooh, oh my god, just get a few dark marks on there. Oh my god, I really don't think this is going to work. You know what the heck, I'm just going to try it anyway, even though this definitely looks like it's going to cause loads of dark marks on my face. Here goes nothing. Ooh, this is not looking good. Let's just flip it around and try and use the other side to blend that out. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not really working. Oh my god. I'm just looking like I've just dipped my face in mud. Right. Do I keep trying? Do you know what? I'm giving up here. I don't think this is really as good for bronzers and blushes as it is for translucent setting powder. So let's retire this little guy. I'm going to fix this, finish the rest of my makeup, and I'm going to be back with my thoughts. Okay, so I'm back. Overall, my final thoughts are that these are really nice sponges. They work. They're pretty affordable. My personal preference would be to use the standard size ones, so the Spongebob and Patrick's size sponge. So I'd use these sponges damp like I would with my normal beauty sponge to apply my foundation and other liquid products like concealer and cream contour and things like that. So that would be my preference in how to use these sponges. In terms of using them dry for powder, then it did completely work with the setting powder. It looked nice. My skin looked pretty flawless after I'd used the sponge dry to apply the setting powder, but it definitely didn't work, or it definitely wasn't easy to use to apply bronzer or anything like that. So I definitely would only use them for setting powder and nothing else. But to be honest, I think I'll just stick to using my regular brush to apply setting powder, because I just think it's a bit easier and you just get a bit more control. And in terms of the little sponges, they were okay. I don't think I'll be reaching for them again in a hurry, because I just prefer to use a bigger, squishier sponge, especially on the delicate skin around my eyes. But yeah, the regular size sponges work great when they're damp to apply liquid products, and I don't think they soak up as much product as my regular sponge, so I agree with that. The texture does feel a bit weird and fuzzy, but I think it does a great job at applying your foundation pretty perfectly. So big thumbs up. This is my skin, if you can hopefully see. Yeah. So that's the end of the video. It was really fun to test out these cute little products, and I hope you enjoyed the video too. If you did, please subscribe for more beauty content. I post makeup reviews and sort of challenges, so please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos like that. I'll leave a link to these sponges in the description, and please leave me a comment down below of what you think of these sponges. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!